Welcome back to the channel. I'm Lauren Fix, and this is the 2023 Kia Telluride. Now, there are a lot of changes for this year, plus there's more production, which means you'll have a higher chance of getting one of these. Remember, the dealers call this the Telluride because the moment they hit the lot, boom, they're gone. Let's start with some of the changes for 2023. Well, the first thing is pretty obvious. No more yellow DRLs or daytime running lights that run around the perimeter of the headlights. They are now LED lights. They're a different style. Also, you'll note that it's got the new grille, the shark nose grille, and the new Kia logo. That is part of the big changes. Going further down, you're going to see there is the optional fog lights, which our SX Prestige trim level has. But there are a lot of changes, not just on the outside, but also on the inside. And of course, we're going to take that for a drive, so you want to stay with us. It's important to note there are two new trim levels. There is no longer a Nightfall edition. There is now an X line and an X Pro line. And there are some differences in what the exterior looks like as well as wheel options. So this is the X line. We will be driving the X Pro line, and you'll see that when we do the conclusion. So as we go to this, we'll start off with these 20-inch alloy wheels. They are all-season tires. Again, when you go to the X Pro line, you're going to get an all-terrain tire. We'll show you that as well. And these are alloy wheels that happen to be in black, but there are other wheel choices as well. There are also 3 new colors this year, and this is one of them. I think it looks really nice. It's a soft gray with a little bit of blue in it, so it really stands out in the crowd, almost a military color. Our SX Prestige line has black details all the way around the trim of the windows, as well as black roof rails. Again, this is part of the new design. There is a lower trim level that has a little bit more chrome, and each trim level is significantly different, not just in the color choices, but also on the interior, as well as the wheel options. So as you work your way around the back of this Kia Telluride, you can see there are some changes. You've got the integrated taillight up here, this really nice upper spoiler, and the new Kia logo, and that Telluride in that same material, that brushed aluminum, which I really like. This is an X line. There is an X Pro, like I said, we'll show you that when we get to the end. Also, you'll see that down below, they've got this new valance. They really thought about making this look nice, and that includes the dual exhaust. So for those of you who have been complaining that the turn signals on Kias are down low, it's now up high. This is what you asked for, and I agree. Having the turn signal up here makes it easier for people around you to see where you're going. When it was down low, it may have been cool from a style standpoint, but from a safety standpoint, people couldn't see it, so they have made that change. Again, LED lighting all the way around. Inside the Kia Telluride, there are some changes. You'll note that the steering wheel is very similar. You've got your nice brushed aluminum details here and your new Kia logo, as well as the controls for your cruise control and that lane centering, which is part of that new Highway Assist 2. Now you'll also note that we have a new center screen. It's 24 inches across, which is 2 12-inch screens. That includes navigation, which is now standard. There is also a larger head-up display and optional full display mirror, which is that backup mirror we talked about in visibility. There is available 10-speaker Harman Kardon audio, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and wireless smartphone charger. There's also 6 USB charge ports and 5 ports, which are standard. One neat thing they've added is a multi-Bluetooth. In other words, up to 3 phones can connect, so you can listen to music, talk on the speakerphone, or whatever it is you want to stream. Some of the neat features that they've added in technology, you go back to the home button, you've got your map and your navigation, your phone projection, your voice memo is still there, and yes, by the way, someone asked on a different video, you are getting the sounds of nature. You can adjust your climate control here or further down below, valet mode and passenger talk. Quiet mode if you need it for silence, if you'd like that. Your radio, media, Kia Connect, which replaces the UVO system, notifications, and your user's manual, all right here, easy to use. This is the new Kia Telluride key. Now, if you don't want to carry the key, there is a key card you can also use. Additionally, you can use your phone or your watch. There are different drive modes that can be adjusted just behind the Prindle, which is park, reverse, neutral, drive low, the lever, the shift lever, and it starts off here in the eco mode, so you can get your best fuel economy. There is a snow mode, and each mode changes just right here in front of you, not in the center screen. You've got comfort, sport, or smart, which tells you what is the right mode. Because remember, their direct competitors are the Honda Pilot, the Ford Explorer, the Toyota Highlander, and their cousin, the Hyundai Palisade, amongst many other vehicles that are 3-row SUVs. When it comes to visibility, there is an around view or a surround view camera, which is really good because it also tracks your path. especially if you're not good at backing up. But in addition to that, they put in something really impressive. This is Kia's first backup camera, where you have a regular camera with your home link, flip the switch, and you now have a 180-degree camera, which really helps you can see what's going on around you. An excellent part of visibility, especially for a large SUV. So when it comes to seating for the Telluride, I'm very impressed. The new seating is much more supportive than before, and there is lumbar on both driver and passenger side. Thank you, Kia, for listening to that. Plus, there is an adjustable lumbar that massages you periodically so that you don't fall asleep or get stiffness in your back. And they thought about that for those that are going on long rides. So there are completely adjustable seats for both front and rear, both heated and ventilated, heated steering wheel. The heated steering wheel is a single button, so it's either on or off, but there is 3-stage heated and cooled seats. Going into the second row, this vehicle can hold 7 or 8 passengers, whether you want to have bench seats in the second row or captain's chairs, which I prefer. One of the things that Kia has always done that I love is there's USB charge ports right on the side of each seat. Super, super smart. 2 cup holders behind the center console. There are pockets behind both and hooks to hang bags or whatever it is you want to hang your cords. Below on the center console, you've got an AC adapter as well as a 12-volt adapter, which again is really helpful for charging. In the doors, you've got Harman Kardon audio, you have ventilation up top, as well as lighting here and an automatic system, so you can adjust your climate control. This is 3-stage climate control. It's also important to note is optional. You can get 3-stage heated or ventilated seats in the second row. This is a luxury item, and you're getting this in a reasonably priced car. We'll talk about pricing when we get to the end. Trim levels, of course, start low and work their way up. When you get to that higher price point, you're in that luxury category, and there's great value here. Here in the third row, it actually has pretty good room. I'm 5'8", I'm all legs. You have the ability to press this button, and the seat moves forward. And it will not work when the car is in drive, because you know how kids are. But in addition to that, you've got 2 cup holders here, USB-C charging on both ports, and the ability to put someone in the middle. So there is 2 child safety seats that can be mounted here. There is no latch system here in the third row. There's a reason for that. There's very few vehicles that have third row latch systems, so don't feel that this is something odd. This is something pretty normal. You'll also know that there is window screens that are manual, that are in the second row, but not available in this third quarter windows because it's part of the driver's visibility. The seats fold 60/40, and we're going to talk about that more when we get to cargo. Under the hood of all Kia Tellurides is a 3.8-liter V6 GDI engine with 291 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque. Backed by an 8-speed automatic transmission, it gets 24 miles to the gallon combined, 0 to 60 time, 7 seconds. Available in all-wheel drive, which is about 75% of their take rate. Towing capacity is 5,000 pounds, but if you jump up to that X Pro trim level, you will get a 5,500-pound towing capacity, just a little bit of extra. Let's do a 0 to 60 launch, 0 to 60 in 7 seconds. Here we go. It's not too bad. Change to the sport mode, gives it a little bit more pickup, but the different drive modes do adjust not just the suspension, but also the shift points and of course the exhaust note. But overall, this vehicle really isn't changed when it comes to the driveline. Where the changes are exterior. They're the design on exterior, the interior, the new soft touch materials, the bigger technology screen, and more safety. And one of those safety features I'm not the biggest fan of, and I'm sure Kia won't want to hear this, but it's called Highway Drive Assist 2. Now, that allows you to set it up so when it sees through telematics the street signs, it will adjust the street sign to the speed. So you cannot drive over 45. You can drive over it by putting your foot into it, but if you're just using that semi-autonomous, because there's no such thing as self-driving here, the driver assistant features will allow you to override them by putting your foot in the gas. But be prepared, because down the road, the government's already implemented that by 2026, and they can do this through a software upgrade, that they can limit your speed limit. There's a lot of safety features, but the number one safety feature on this vehicle that I love is when you put on the turn signal and you have that blind spot camera. And that's really good for not hitting curbs, seeing other vehicles, changing lanes on a highway. All of that is really well laid out. If you get into the Hyundai Palisade, which we reviewed, you can check that out up here. You're going to find a lot of similarities. Although the vehicles are different on the exterior, the interior center screen is the same. As far as we can see, I'm sure behind the scenes there is other changes. This vehicle has a lot to offer, and I think one of the biggest things with this vehicle is its value. And we'll talk about that at the end. But overall, ride comfort is great. The X Pro, which we're driving right now, we have driven the X line as well, is a ½ an inch higher, and it gets a little bit more towing capacity, and it has all-terrain tires, which means, as you can hear, it's a little bit louder road noise from those tires against the road surface. But again, it depends what you want and what you're doing with this vehicle. Handling is nice and confident for this tall vehicle. It's about 0.4 inches taller on the X Pro than the X line. And a round view camera, good for off-roading. So we can see the different angles of departure, both up and down hills. The goal is you've got a front camera, which is really great if you're off-roading. Most people aren't going to off-road this, but the X Pro allows you to do that if you wish. You also get the additional 500 pounds of towing capacity, and this shows that the vehicle is capable. In addition, if you are towing, this vehicle has load leveling essentially, which means it will level out the suspension so that you're not blinding oncoming traffic. You can see from the vehicle in front of me that it is extremely capable for this type of light off-roading. This is not heavy off-roading. If you're going to do that, you get a Jeep, you get a Land Rover, you get a Bronco Raptor or something like that. That's more for off-roading. We took this Midnight Lake Blue Telluride off-road. It is the X Pro lineup, so this is a loaded vehicle. And I want to show you some things that are across all the lineup that's new. Let's start off with storage. There's 21 cubic feet of storage here, and yes, we did stop at Buc-ee's because we're here in San Antonio, Texas, and that's where it's from. If you've never been to Buc-ee's, it's a destination you gotta go. You pull these seats down and you have 87 cubic feet of maximum storage, and that is right in the sweet spot of the 3-row category. When you're looking at the price of this vehicle, it starts at $37,000 for the entry-level trim. Work your way all the way up to that SX Prestige that has the X Pro lineup. This vehicle came in at $55,000. That brings you almost into that luxury category, but you are getting luxury. And that brings us to the pros and cons. Lots of standard safety. Some of it's a little invasive, which is a negative, but the vehicle overall has some massive improvements, and that includes the technology, which I think is huge. Heated and ventilated second row seats, another major plus. And the fact that this vehicle has really good features, value in it is really the big seller on why they call it the Telluride. One negative thing, in my opinion, is that highway drive assist 2. I don't think I need to be told to stay within the speed limit. For some people, it's extremely helpful, especially if you're easily distracted, you've got kids in the car, and a lot of things going on. Fuel economy could be a little bit better, but we're hoping that maybe next year they're going to have a hybrid version, which will give you that electric propulsion as well as gas. That would give it even better fuel economy. But overall, super impressed with what you're getting in the Telluride. And in addition, this goes right into the beginning of that luxury category of Lexus, Mercedes, and that price point, Lincoln. So you got to start thinking, if you're looking at those more prestigious, luxurious vehicles, certainly take the Telluride for a rough drive, and you will see all the features that are standard that can be ordered on this high-line trim level that you might consider buying the Telluride. One important feature to talk about is they are making more Tellurides for 2023 than they have in the past because they can't produce them fast enough. They've allocated more chips, more production to this, and all of these vehicles are produced at the Georgia plant. That means you get the 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty as well as the roadside service. There is no maintenance plan that is included. That is something you could buy separately or get the maintenance done wherever you'd like. Now, there are a lot more details on this vehicle that we didn't cover. You can put that in the comments down below. I will get you an answer to your question. We've also did a walk around with this vehicle before with one of the product planners. You can check that out on our channel. We've driven all the competitors. They're listed down below in the description. Make sure to check them out before you make a final decision, because it's not just the cost of the vehicle, it's also the insurance cost that makes a difference. If you got value from this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this one. If you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee, the link for that is down in the description, as well as our website, our podcast, and our social media. Thank you so much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you next time.